Hey everybody, what is up? It's Berlin and I am back again. Yes, still not finished my makeup, but you know what? The circus is in town. So let's get straight into this. Okay. I have just watched the latest Frenemies episode. To be honest, there wasn't much in there that I haven't personally already covered in videos on this whole Hair by J, Trisha Paytas situation, Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson. There really wasn't a lot in there at all that I haven't already gone over. So, I mean, there were a few points, I guess. There were a few things that came out in that podcast that haven't already come out. So we're going to go over those, and also somebody else has joined in the fun now, and it's fucking hilarious. It's like, we knew this would happen. We knew that there would be people coming out trying to sort of clear Jeffree's name, being as Hair by J kind of really dropped Jeffree in it with this whole thing when he was talking about Trisha, talking about all the things that Jeffree Star had said about Trisha, as well as himself. He dropped Jeffree in it. But I don't know about all this. I still think a lot of this is a bit of a kind of distraction from a lot more serious things, like the sexual assault allegations. So, on the Frenemies podcast, Trisha and Ethan Klein got right into it. They went into all what happened on the Vegas trip between Jeffree, Trisha, Rich Lux, Hair by J, Boomcack, all of them who were on that trip. They got right into it. They went into the fact that Trisha was apparently just coming off like a drug binge, and you know, not the smartest thing to do to take somebody to Vegas to go clubbing for 4 nights when they've just come off that tea. But sorry, I'm just hunting for a brush now. There we go, that one. So they've taken Trisha to Vegas, and apparently Oscar Wylde also had something to say, because Oscar Wylde apparently has heard from Jeffree Star that Jeffree Star has said he wanted to distance himself from Shane Dawson. This is so messy. If you don't know, Oscar Wylde is a DJ, and he's also another friend of Jeffree Star, Trisha Paytas, Rich Lux, all of them. So apparently now Oscar Wylde had told Trisha that Jeffree and all of them were talking about her behind Trisha's back. Oscar Wylde has just now come out on Twitter and said this. Yeah, I've been too kind and kept my mouth shut for too long, but the only thing I will say publicly right now is that yes, I physically was asked by Jeffree, at what point do I cut ties with Shane? Like, this is more than 3 strikes. Literally the fucking day after Tutty filmed her video. Oscar then went on to say, I'm not trying to bring people into this, but I truly feel my kindness or empathy was taken advantage of, and I just feel bad for the fact that Trisha lost a friend for siding with someone who I watched physically say this. Simple as that. So, Oscar Wylde there, behind the scenes, is now claiming that Jeffree came to him the day after Tati Westbrook made her video, saying to him, when shall I cut ties with Shane Dawson, because this is more than 3 strikes. Now, it's not clear which Tati video he means. Does he mean the original Bye Sisters video that caused all the mess with James Charles, or does he mean the Breaking My Silence video that Tati uploaded last year? I'm really not sure which video Oscar is referring to there, but To me, this very, very much smacks of Oscar trying to sort of clear Jeffree's name and distance Jeffree from Shane Dawson to kind of separate Jeffree and Shane. Because it's become very, very clear that Shane Dawson is not a good person to be associated with. Through everything that happened last year, everything about the way Shane Dawson has operated on YouTube, it's now really, really clear that Shane is no saint. He's not a good person. He's, you know, tried to make people look good, but only for his own benefit. It's all very self-serving. Very self-serving, manipulative, self-serving. And now this to me really feels a lot like Oscar's kind of trying to get Jeffree out of a bit of trouble by saying, oh look, Jeffree always knew that Shane was kind of bad and kind of problematic. But dude, you know, you come forward and say this now. You come forward and you say this now that Hair by Jay has outed Jeffree, as well as Tab, who originally uploaded that video talking about Jeffree Star's behaviour, what Jeffree Star had allegedly said about Trisha Paytas and Rich Lux. Now Oscar Wylde wants to come forward nearly a year later and claim that, oh look, Jeffree always knew Shane was bad. Jeffree was trying to do the right thing and get rid of Shane then. Really? Is this what we're doing? Or is this more a case of Oscar saying that Jeffree was the bad friend? Jeffree was the bad person in this because Jeffree was the one going behind Shane Dawson's back talking to Oscar. I don't know. I really don't know, guys. But in the Frenemies podcast, Trisha also mentioned that Oscar Wylde had gone to Trisha and said that they were all talking about her behind her back. So, apparently Oscar's gone to Trisha. Jeffree had gone to Oscar about Shane. It is a whole ass mess. There's some interesting points in the whole Frenemies podcast though. I mean, you guys can go and watch that for yourselves. I'm not going to sit here and repeat everything that was on the Frenemies podcast. But some interesting points. I took some notes. A few pages. Whoop, that was my pen. Sorry about that. But Trisha said that Jeffree needed Shane for redemption. Shane needed Jeffree to make coin from Le Palette. So Shane and Jeffree both used each other. It was a kind of transactional friendship is what Trisha was getting at. Fine. Okay. And there was more that wasn't pretty. Really was not pretty. There was a moment where Trisha said that Jeffree had basically told Trisha that she should throw herself off of the hotel balcony as a joke. When they were on this Vegas trip, Trisha had apparently opened up to Jeffree about her suicide attempts and stuff like that. Jeffree made this joke about, oh, well, we're here, girl. Why don't you throw yourself off the balcony? Like, that's not okay. Trisha had opened up to Jeffree about a serious thing. A very serious thing. Very deep, personal, uncomfortable thing. And what does Jeffree do? Makes a fucking stupid joke out of it that's inappropriate. That's not a friend in my eyes. That's a shitty person. Let's not forget though, before we go any further, let's not forget with this whole Hair by Jay drama and Trisha Paytas thing, Jay doxed Trisha. Nobody deserves that. I don't care if Trisha's a troll, whatever, you know. You don't dox somebody. That's just shit. That is below the belt shit. Don't do it. But moving on. I'm going back to my notes. Girl, there's pages here. Honestly, Apparently, Shane Dawson last year had said to Trisha Paytas, Jeffree is a villain. Trisha thinks that Shane changed before her eyes and sold his soul to the devil in, collaborating and working with Jeffree Star, being up Jeffree Star's arse as much as he is. She also said that she wanted Wylde to take that most recent podcast down. If you haven't seen it, The Sip, the podcast where Wylde was talking about the whole Kanye West rumours, Kanye West fucking Jeffree Star, all that bullshit. Trisha was like, I asked Wylde to take it down. But Wylde is like fawning over Jeffree on that podcast, as is Lizzie, his co-host. And they're not going to take that down, But apparently Trisha reached out to them, said, can you guys take this down? She was uncomfortable with it being up because she's uncomfortable with the way that Jeffree has treated her. And of course, Shane and Wylde, being Trisha's friends, she thought they were going to be loyal to her and take the podcast down. They haven't. So currently, as it is, Trisha, Shane, Wylde, not friends. Jeffree is kind of being exposed by Hair by Jay and Oscar Wylde now. This is all... One little tidbit of tea that did come out in the podcast, the Frenemies Podcast tonight, was that Jeffree apparently lied to Shane about how much money the palette would make during the docuseries they made together last year, The Beautiful World of Jeffree Star. That I find funny. Not hard to believe, but funny, because, this year, last year, whatever, it's come out that Jeffree Star does lie about quite a lot. So I can believe that. I can believe Trisha saying that. I mean, we don't know anything for certain, We've only got what Trisha Paytas is saying to go on. But I do kind of believe that, actually, because that's something that I can imagine Jeffree Star making up, given all the stuff that he's made up so far last year, in years previously. Jeffree Star is a fictional person who seems to live in a world of his own make-believe. And that's all well and good until you get caught out. Trisha and Ethan absolutely roasted Jeffree in this podcast. There was so much that came out. Really, if you haven't seen it, go and watch the Frenemies Podcast, because there was a lot of tea in it. There was a lot of juice. Yeah, there was a lot of repetitive stuff that's already been covered over the last few days, stuff that we've already heard from Trisha. There was quite a lot of repeating herself. There was a lot of back and forth, but go and watch it, because there are some little gems, some little tidbits in there. Like, one point that Trisha made was that Chrissy Teigen, who is a client of Hair by Jay's, has apparently now unfollowed him after all this drama with Hair by Jay, Trisha, Jeffree, Shane. Apparently Chrissy Teigen has now unfollowed Hair by Jay. So is Hair by Jay's business going to be severely affected by all this drama? Or is he just setting up shop on his own, selling his wigs, doesn't give a fuck? But one thing that we do know was the way that Hair by Jay spoke about Trisha Paytas in those IG lives was fucking disgusting, misogynistic, should never have happened, right? That's the one thing I think everybody seems to agree on here. But also, the other thing that's coming out of it is that Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star are looking like two fucking terrible people. So guys, I think what I'm going to do is do a proper video on this Frenemies podcast tomorrow. I think I'm going to organise all my notes, go through it, maybe watch the podcast again and do a proper video on it. This video was just kind of a random word vomit video, so I'm sorry if it's a bit of a mess, but I think I'm going to sit down, get my shit together, do a proper video on this tomorrow. If you guys want that, let me know. I mean, if you're all sick of this drama, then I'm not going to do another video on it. Let me know if you want a proper video on this topic. I don't know, who knows, maybe some more will come out by tomorrow. I've got no idea. Maybe Jeffree will start clapping back at Oscar or something like that. I've really got no idea. They're all fucking mad. So, I'm going to stop this little one here. I'm going to say take care, stay safe, stay well. Sorry this one's been a bit of a crazy random mess, but you know, things happen and I try and get them out as quickly as I can. So this thing with Oscar putting out those tweets, I was like, damn, we need to sit down, make a little video about this. We need to talk about this now. So that's what we've done, and see you on the next one, guys. Take care.